Okay, greetings, guys. This is page 3 or 4. This is page 4 of the review. So let's look at this. Write an equation for the following graph. I made this question extra credit on there. Okay, so I'm not going to say there's extra credit on the quarterfinal. I don't think I'm going to put it, but let's look over this anyway. Write a question. So first thing I want to do is find the pieces and find the fences. So there's a fence right there that separates this piece to that piece. Okay, so now I go f of x, and I've only got two pieces. So I need to fill in an equation and a domain, an equation and a domain. Cool. Okay, and here, let's define this. The fence is at 1, 2, 3. So this piece is bigger than 3. So its x is bigger than 3. But see the solid dot? So this dude owns a fence greater than or equal to 3. Well, this one is less than or equal to 3. But do you see how it goes? And it actually stops over here at -1. So this is between 3 and -1. This is kind of a creative little piece, goes from -1 to 3. Now, let's get the equation. Okay. I'm going to do this one first because I can see it better. What I mean, I can see it better. This is a line. This piece is right here. A line has a y-intercept, so 4. So I'm going to go, I'm looking at mx plus b. So it's going to be something times x plus 4. And m is its slope. To get the slope, I'm just going to start here. And I'm going to go choose another, there, and see if I go down 2 and right 3, down 2, right 3, I get rise over run. Cool. We looked at a lot of that stuff last year. Now, this one, I have a hard time seeing that unless I continue to draw it. It's a line also. Now, look at the slope. If I go over 1, it goes up 2. So 1, 2. So its slope is 2 over 1. So it's going to be 2x, rise over run, gives me the slope. But the y-intercept, well, I'm just going to go backwards until I hit it. This one I have to go down 1, 2. So I'm at now -1, 2, 3. 2x, oh shoot, I went all the way over there. 2x minus 3. Okay, so I have to extend that to be able to see where the y-intercept is. That's how I get my equation. So find the fence, see who owns the fence. Oh. Just notice something. It's less than 3. This is not equal to 3 here because he doesn't own the fence right there, right? Because that's a solid hollow. Okay, there's that. Now, average rate of change. Guys, every time you do the average rate of change, you're going to be using the slope formula. Let me write it up here. Slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or it's the change in y's over the change in x's. Okay? All you really need to figure out is what are the y's and what are the x's. So every time you do average rate of change, you're going to have 2 points and you're going to find the slope between these 2 points. Let's look at this. Determine the average rate of change for this function for the interval -1 and 3. These are x values. Okay? These are x values. So I need to find what's f of -1. So if I put a -1 in there, I'm just going to do that in my calculator. Check this out. I go parenthesis -1, parenthesis fourth, minus 8. Oh, I'm out of that. I got to get out of the fourth. There we go. -8 times, in parentheses, -1 to the power of 3. And then plus 16 times -1 squared. Okay, so I just typed that whole thing in my calculator, this function, but I put in a -1, and I'm going to equals, and it gives me 25. So now I have the point -1 and 25. Okay, now I need to find what's f of 3. 3 is the other half of my interval, so I put that in the function. Okay, so again, I'm just going to put it in my calculator. 3, and I'm just going to, that's a -3. I got to watch that. So I'm going to put everywhere I have a -1, I'm going to change that to a 3. Okay, so 3 to the 4th minus 8 times 3 cubed plus 16 times 3 squared. That'll work. Gives me 9. So I've got the point 3, 9. Awesome. Now I've got my points. I've got to find the slope. 25 minus 9. There's my top. And on the bottom, -1 minus 3. Okay, so I'm going to type that in my calculator. For 25 minus 9 all over -1 minus 3. Yep, equals -4. There's my average rate of change. Okay, change in the x, change in the outputs, change in the inputs. So on a table, it's the same thing, except here's your inputs, here's your outputs. So the average temperature per month is shown in the table below. Find the average rate of change from February, which is right here, to September, which is right there. February, December. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Or you could look at, hey, that's the 9th month minus the 2nd month. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll do the change in the outputs where this is 30 right there. And it's 72. So I go 30 minus 72. And I would go 2 minus 9 because the 30 is paired up with the 2. Because really, I have the points here 2, 30 and 9, 72. So if I go 30 minus 72 on the top, I got to do the same order on the bottom. 2 minus 9. That gives me 30 minus 72 all over 2 minus 9 is 6. 6 what? Well, the units on top came from this column, degrees Fahrenheit. So degrees per, and this was month. Include your units because that will help you interpret it. Interpreting this, I need to include the units and the labels from all this. So from February to September, the temperature changed on average, or I can, since this is positive, I'll even say it increased on average 6 degrees each month. Now, if you want a fill in the blank kind of things, from boom to boom, that will be where it's changing from input to input. The blank, which is going to be that variable, it increased or decreased, so you'd have to figure that out. On average, blank, each blank, degrees each month. You can just fill in those blanks with their respective units and call it good. Okay? Moving on. Lily is planning a dinner to raise money for a local charity. Good for her. The cost of renting. Oh, we did some of these on our first test, I think. Yep, we did. The cost of renting the recreation hall is $150 plus $2 a chair, or cost equals 2x plus 150, where x represents the number of people attending the fundraiser. She is planning to charge $150 per person, or R, which was revenue, because 15x. Profit. Profit always equals revenue minus cost. It's a basic something we dealt with on our assignments. So the profit equation is the revenue equation, which is 15x, minus the cost equation, which is 2x plus 150. Okay, if I simplify that, I get 15x minus 2x and then minus 150 after I distribute that through and get rid of the parentheses. I just go apply that to there. 15 minus 2 is 13x minus 150. And there is my equation. Determine the profit if 60 people attended. I just have to put 60 into that profit equation that I found. 13 times 60 minus 150. 13 times 60 minus 150 gives me 630. So what I found is if I have 60 people attend, I'm going to make a profit of $630. Okay. Now, this is part that a lot of y'all struggled on. Some people did really good and other people didn't, but people tended to do really good here or really bad. Use the following functions to evaluate the expressions. And I've got f of x equals this, g of x equals this, h of x equals this, and whatever that is, j of x equals that. So every single one of these, let me sum it. You've got functions, and it's telling you what to do with the functions. So this is saying f minus h. So I'm going to take f, which is here, and subtract h, which is there. This is saying 2 times g times j. So I'm going to go 2 times g, which is here, times j, which is there. This is saying j of 16. Now, what I want you to realize is this, these, and these are not multiplication. If you ever do that multiplication, you are wrong. This is saying what to put into it. Let me show you. F minus h. So I got to take f, which is 4x plus 2, 4x plus 2, and I've got to subtract h, which is 2x minus 2. There, f minus h. Now it says, and put x in. Well, x is already there, so I got to leave it. I'm not going to multiply it by x. This is just saying the input is x. Well, x and x, my input's x. And if I simplify these, 4x plus 2, negative 2x, negative 2x, negative, negative makes a positive 2. 4x minus 2x is 2x, and 2 plus 2 makes a positive 4. So there it is, unsimplified, there it is simplified, and that's it. Okay, 2 times g times j. So I've got 2 times g, and g is right here, 3x minus 1, times j, which is x minus 2. So 2 times g, which is there, times j. Okay, now I got to multiply these. Now, something I saw over and over and over again, and it irritated me, is you multiply this by 2 and this by 2. Nobody ever does that, guys. Think about this. If I tell you what's 2 times 4 times 3, you would go, oh, 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. You would never multiply, you would never say, oh, that's the same as 2 times 4 is 8, and 3 times 2 is 6. And no, you wouldn't do that. You multiply 2 at a time, get a number, and then multiply it times the next thing. Same thing here. I'm going to go 2 times the 3x minus 1, which is 6x minus 2, and then you multiply that times the x minus 2. And if I do that, 6x times x is, I'm going to move up here, 6x squared. 6x times negative 2 is negative 12x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And I've got 6x squared minus 14x plus 4. And that's it. Now, this is saying j of 16. J of 16, here's j, x minus 2. I'm going to do this. Don't write it down yet if you're following along. There's j of x right there, x minus 2, x minus 2. H is this, 2x minus 2. However, this of 16 is saying, instead of x, guess what I'm going to put? 16. But only into j. So up here, this is saying put 2 into h. So instead of x here, I'm going to put a 2. That's what that's saying. Put 16 into j. So 16 minus 2, which is 14. Put 2 into h. Well, put 2 into h. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. Like here. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then divide them. So I take all that and that. I can type that in the calculator just like it looks if I want. 14 over 2 is 7. That's it. Okay. So this is saying g plus 5g, but put in a negative 14. A negative 4. That's an input. So I look at g. G is right here. 3x minus 1. So 3, but not times x, by negative 4 minus 1. There is g of negative 4. I took g up here and I put a negative 4 in for x. Wrote it down. But because I'm putting in negative, remember, you got to put parentheses around that. Plus 5 times j. And j is right here, x minus 2, except I'm not using x, I'm using a -4. Sorry, let me get out of here. Let me do this. -4 minus 2, because it's -4 minus 2. Guys, that gives me something I can just type into my calculator, right like it is. And I'm going to, because my mind's just too tired right now to do this. So parentheses 3, parentheses, -4 minus 1. Close that. Okay. Plus 5 times parentheses, -4 minus 2. -4 minus 2. And I get -43. There's where I get -43. That's it. Guys, that's the end of this 4th page. Look for the last installment. That's it. See you next time. Bye.